Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. In South Africa here we've had so many stories about diversity and I got the chance to reflect on it, more especially when I got a question from Luyanda from a previous video that we spoke about. She asked specifically, how can I get my company to see me as a daughter? Remember we did a video at one point where we spoke about, being seen as a daughter compared to being seen as a son or being seen as a spouse, and all of that depends on how the leadership will be able to either take you forward or not take you forward. And it's all that crazy thing. And she commented on the video and said, how do I get my company to now start to see me as a daughter so that they can take me out? And it took me a couple of days before I actually had to figure it out. And it was after I've listened to Christine Williams. After she had the session, all of us, it picked up for me. That was the answer that I was looking for. I just didn't come up with the answer for the sake of it, but it took me quite a while before I could come up with the answer. So in this video, I just planned us to talk about what is it that could happen for you to start to be included into the decision making, not just to sit there as an employee or as a son or as a spouse for the rest of your life. So in this video, this session, we're going to be talking about inclusion so that you can, from inclusion, you can start making your journey towards belonging. Once you start to belong, you are now a daughter. You can now be able to be taken into all these different levels. So stay with us while we discuss that. To answer the question, there's a little exercise that I just want us to do. Exercise just shows that we are all different and we have biases, and we must all stick, not feel ashamed with our biases. If I feel within myself, depending on where do I stay, where do I whatever, I will have different preferences, and those preferences, it's sad to say, you bring them to your business. So if you prefer a certain type of work ethic, you would only promote the people that actually show that type of work ethic. So simple exercise that shows you. Let's just look on the screen here. So on the screen here we have 4 people. Maybe you can take a pencil and then try to look at this and then also try to do it yourself. Maybe you can rewind this video, or you can contact Christine Williams and maybe have a chat with her. Email is just below on the screen. It says, who are you more likely to choose? We are choosing people. If you are going away and you require somebody to look after your house and your pets, who would you likely choose? Look at that. It just shows from the word go that we have preferences. Anyway, let's just take it forward. Next one, you have been assigned a high priority project that requires you and your team to work at least 6 hours overtime. Who would you select to be in that team? Who would you select to be in that team? Would it be the guy with the glasses? The guy with the tie? Would it be a family lady? Or would it be that other lady that looks like she's working hard? Very, very different. Let's pick this one quickly. You have to send someone in your team to work on a project in the DRC. DRC is the Democratic Republic of Congo. It's the old Zaire in the middle of Africa. Who would you more likely to choose? Who would you more likely to choose? Would you select somebody else? Will it be based on religion or not? Will it be based on middle age or not? Single, family? Would you like to choose somebody with a family, or would you like to choose somebody who's younger without a family? You don't know. Who would you most likely say? Go to the Republic of Congo. Let's look at a few more. You are at a function party, a company function. Who would you most likely start up the conversation with? I know. Kind of weird. Male, females, funky, non-funky. Who would you start up the conversation with? Big question. You are a member of a governing body of your child's school and you are in a process of appointing a new principal. these are the candidates. Who would you select purely based on their photo? Would you select the non-smiling one? Would you select the suited one, the tight one, men, women? Who would you select? Who would you select purely on their photo? Look at that. You want to select a principal? Jeez. If you don't have kids, just think about it. Who would you rather have as your principal in high school? Your team gets called in to be told that a new boss has been appointed. Who would you prefer and why? Funky, not funky, female, male? Who would you prefer and why? You need to ask someone in your team to go and have a tough conversation with a supplier who has not delivered. Tough conversation with a supplier who have not delivered. Who would you ask? Who looks like they can have a tough conversation? Who would you ask? I mean, the photos that we've shown you, there's no good or wrong answer. There's no, I have to choose a feminine person, I have to choose a single person, I have to choose a Muslim person or the one that looks like a Christian or a Hindu person. There's no right answer to that. It is all based on showing our biases. As much as we can try to have diversity and inclusion, there's still certain priorities that we can do. Let's say, for instance, in a photo we show all females, all black females of certain different ages. Already there, because there are different ages, you will start to see your biases. If you show ladies same age from different economical background, you will start to say, different economical background. This shows different biases. The sad part is me and you are also being put through the same scale. We are also being thrown into the same fish pond that we have to actually go. And depending on what the person who's making the choice, which is in this case it was you and I who were choosing who should be the new boss and who should be the principal. The person who's making the choosing chooses based on their biases. So I can't come here and tell you, in order for you to be seen as a daughter, you have to start playing golf. I had a lot of people my age start, for now they've been playing golf for 10 years because they think that businesses are in the golf course. One guy said he never plays golf, even though he stays in a golf estate, one of the best golf estates. He says he flies first class. When you fly first class, you are stuck with somebody else who's definitely from another business, higher ranking executive, that will have to give you an ear for like 2 hours or 3 hours, depending on how far you guys are traveling. That's his strategy. What I would rather say is, somebody told me, you must listen for what is being said, but most carefully, you have to watch out for what should be said, but is not being said. So wherever you are, in your small company, in your big company, your large organization, wherever you are, you have to start looking at what the type of people are looking for around you. One of those people who got you there into the team is probably seeing themselves in you, like the younger themselves. If they're seeing the younger themselves, they might have that role of the mentoring role that sometimes they can normally show you to say, hey, try to do this way because I've made a mess that way. Others, like I said, they will start to see themselves, somebody else who can keep them company at work with all this office politics, and then they start like having that close relationship and marry you. It's all depending on the surrounding area of a person who's hiring you. And I know that has got nothing to do with your capability as an analyst or capability as a person of who you are. Diversity is not just the only answer. We can have as many women, we can have as many disabled people, we can have as many people from disadvantaged background as much as possible. But if we don't consciously, as a manager or as a team leader, if you don't consciously include those people into the meeting, they will never be able to belong in that meeting. So when you start to include them, when I responded, I said to Luyanda, diversity as far as I'm concerned, I've heard it's like being invited to a party. When you're invited to party, you get a party invitation. You can get to the party and then it's like, oh, what an odd party. Inclusion is being invited to the party and being asked to dance, or being asked, to participate into the party. That's inclusion. Belonging is being included into the party and dancing like nobody is watching you, where you're just free. And that is where you start to belong. But to get to a point where you belong into a team, there's a lot of empowerment that needs to happen. You just don't start volunteering into the team and then you're hoping that you will get to a stage of belonging. There's a lot that needs to happen in between. And that has to do with how the team leader sees. Maybe the team leader just likes night owl, the people that are working in the night until the next morning. And maybe you're one of those. You don't even have kids, you got nothing, you don't have grandmothers that you're looking after or grandfathers that you're looking after. You got nobody. You're just staying alone. But you just cannot work at night. You are just at night, 7 o'clock, you're straight to bed. You're like me, straight to bed. And then the next morning, 2 o'clock, you have no problem. You can wake up at 2 o'clock and then start working. And then for that, they might feel like you're always not around. But you're asking yourself, but how could you guys penalize me for not being around after hours? They're like, no, but we discussed this thing yesterday, just after you left. Because we bought pizza and then we were working on to a project and stuff like that. So when it's like that, you can already see it's like a party where you are drinking water while people are having Coke. They will start to say, hey, this one is not gelling quite well. Or they're popping champagne and you're ordering coffee. They'll start to say you didn't gel well. And before you know it, you are, based on your work ethic, if you are working perfectly well. I've known many analysts that does very, very good job. They've been doing that job for like 10, 20 years and they haven't moved. And they love that. But most of us would like to progress. Not just in terms of getting huge titles, but even the work that you do. You don't want to be doing VLOOKUPs for the rest of your lives in Excel. You just want to progress, start to look at, even just looking at the type of work. You can start to look at the type of work that is more current, that addresses current situations, which in that case you feel like, whoa, my work is really impactful to me. Not to somebody else, but to me, because I could see this in 3 news and I'm working with it. But the only way else for you to start working with the current thing is if somebody else sees you as a person who can be able to handle such a thing. It's a very, very difficult situation. Diversity, I'm afraid, is not enough. Inclusion might be the key to you feeling like you belong into the team. And when you belong into the team, that's what I call you a daughter. Anybody could tell you to say, Lisema will be here, the dance floor will be lit, he's gonna bring his own iPod. Well, it shows how do you play music now? He's gonna bring his own iTunes to play music. He's gonna bring his own Spotify account to plug in and play. So that once I know that, then I know that I'm really a daughter. I'm gonna go with it. So till next time, guys, please keep your comments coming. Like Luyanda, this one was not just an easy one to respond to. It touched me so hard that I had to address it. And then right now, when I found this, then I realized, this is a good video to go into. It doesn't involve us having to go change people how they see us, but it's about you identifying how the person sees you, and then you can be able to make up your decision from that step. Am I going to be the analyst that stays? Am I going to be the analyst that has to go and look for another job? Or I have to go look for another team that I can work with in the same organization? So it's all about that. Until next time, we'll chat again. Cheers.